Welcome back to another video which I call Out of Bounds, where I go through the story mode of a video game and try to access hidden sections or inaccessible areas that you normally cannot reach. This would include things like mountaintops, behind walls, or rooms that are blocked off. You get the idea. I was always curious about a few things in Aliens vs Predator 2 for certain stages. For this episode, we're going to explore the Predator campaign to search for areas that the player is not allowed to reach, and I'll try to give you some information on what's going on and where I'm going. Why do I call this series Out of Bounds? Well, because we are exploring sections of a stage where the developer has put limits on what the player can see and where we can travel. Now, we have full access to look around with no limitations or boundaries. And so, let's begin. The first spot we're going to look at is the room connected to where you first start. What we're seeing here is the sky backdrop of this area. In other games, the devs would place a low-resolution picture that would be seen far off in the distance, usually behind a mountain or just to fill some space on the screen. But the picture used for this sky is pretty good for a game made in 2001. Unlike other games where the picture would be a still image, the devs here went a step further. It seems to wrap around the entire world in a round formation as it continuously moves. There's a light source along with a lens flare effect. And if you zoom into these towers in the back, they actually animated them. Even if it's a small thing, it sure is different from other games at the time. The next area we're going to look at is where you meet up with the Light Predator. As you move closer to it, you'll be given a weapon. But before we do that, let's look to the right side. You can see large mountains in the distance, so let's go there. Alright, here we are, at the top of the first structure I saw in the distance. It's really far away from where we began. There's nothing here, so let's go a bit further back. As we explore the end of this area, the bottom section becomes broken and incomplete. You can see the sky background still reaches a bit below, and the bottom section is just a dark area. Clearly, we are not supposed to be this far in the stage. The next one is when you meet the Heavy Predator. He remains up top, then gives you a weapon as you approach him. Then he turns around and goes to an area that is inaccessible to us, at least normally. Even if you crouch jump and jump on the side of this section, I just couldn't find the right angle to get up there, so maybe you're not supposed to go there anyways. But I want to see what's up there. It's a small area. You can hear the Predator clicking sounds. You just can't see him in normal vision. But switch to PredTech vision and there he is, just standing there. At the end of this section, a Praetorian will jump down to challenge you. But I want to see what else is up there. Okay, here we are. And if we turn around, it's just a small cave. The Praetorian is waiting there. Defeat it, and the stage ends here. When the next area loads up, we see a cutscene that a few of our members have been captured. They are held within the APC vehicles and taken away. It's part of the story for you to find out what happens to them. You do find their bodies throughout the story and in different levels. But for now, I want to see where the APC goes. So let's follow it and see where it moves. Here it is, near the end of its destination, then it finally goes into some type of bunker on the side of a mountain. That's only one of two APCs. The second one stays outside near the doorway, and if you hit it, it's going to start shooting you. And if you move around it, you'll see that the cannons will actually track your movement. So I guess at this point, it's better to not attack the APC. Next up is the area where you see two dropships to your left. They are only within view for a few seconds, then they fly behind some place that you cannot see or access normally. Let's go there and see what happens. Here we go. The two dropships are flying a bit faster, so now they're ahead of me. And in the end, they both fly into the side of this structure. But that's not all. If we look down here, we can see the tail of one ship. And if we go into the wall, we can see that both ships are still there, but frozen in place. And if you're wondering if there are any pilots in these dropships, no, it is empty. Let's look at the sky in this section of the stage. It's now changed to a dark green color. It still stretches in a round formation around the world, and it moves continuously, with the addition of some flashing effects. There's an APC that comes out of this tunnel or bunker area, and if you stand in the wrong spot, you get run over. It eventually stops and unloads some enemies, but the door does not slide open. The enemies just appear outside without any proper animation. Okay, so in this section, I'm going to show you two things. The first one is what happens when you get on the first lift going up. It starts going up before you even start the stage, so there's no way to normally run up to it, but I'll find a way. And here we are on that first lift beside the APC vehicle. It's a long way up and it was very slow. And now that we are up here, the game glitches out and you get some weird textures showing up, so you can't really see. The walls are solid objects and you're stuck here, and that's it. So now we know. The second thing is the towers showing synthetics with railguns, which is a sniper weapon. They appear in the cutscene, but when you reach that area and observe that section, they are not there. They only start to spawn when your presence is known by someone who then warns the others. You then hear Eisenberg summon the synthetics, and they spawn. I know I said two things for this area, but a third one came up, which is the obvious one. Let's look up, and what do we see? These giant structures. So let's get up there. These things appear to be hollow. There's nothing inside them. As I look around, it just feels like an empty box. Okay, I made it. So from up here, let's zoom in down below, and those are people down there. Yes, it's really high, but there's an even higher location than this one. There's one more place to look at, and that is up there, on top of the towers with lights. From here, the mountaintop seems to cut off at a certain point, and some objects in the back are not properly aligned. I guess that's expected because you're not supposed to be up here anyways. The next area is when you walk into a trap, get hit by EMP projectiles, and get captured. When you awaken, your mission is to find your gear and weapons, then escape. As you venture down below through the facility, you'll find Rykov talking to one of his men. When the conversation is done, the door opens and they walk out. I want to know where they go after the door closes. Here's a different angle of that same location. When the door opens, both men will walk out. They only move forward a few steps, then they disappear. They do take damage from your attacks, so you have the option of finishing them off right there in that room. You can also use the net gun on them, but using it on Rykov has a different effect. After some time, his body just disappears. Later in this stage, you have to pull two valves that cause an explosion. This will create your exit to proceed further. But if we watch this from the other side, there's almost no explosion effect, even though some nearby casualties do occur. The last part in this level is to blow a hole in the wall and find a way back to ground level. The ship stays there for a good amount of time, which lets you jump on top to complete the level. This angle just shows you where the dropship appears. Now we made it to some type of underground cavern. When you reach this point, your objective is to follow the pipes on the right side, but if we look to our left, there's another set of pipes, but it's broken, and in the distance, it seems like there's more back there, so let's check it out. And now I'm on that other side. I'll just zoom in to show you that broken section way back there, where I saw it from the other side. And these two pipes here, they lead us to these two objects or equipment. And as I look around, there's no hidden notes or anything over here, but that's it. As you go deeper underground, you'll come across the giant skeleton of some type of creature. The bones are massive, but the fact that it's underground seems like it was a creature that was meant to stay down there. I read through the text notes by the corporates, and I did not see anything mentioned about this, so perhaps they have not discovered it yet. It really made me wonder what it was, and if there were others like it. When you get topside to an opening area, a dropship will fly by your location, then go behind a mountain. It's out of your view, so you can't see the entire route it takes. But from this angle, I can show you where that dropship goes. As it turns around the corner, it pauses and frees, then disappears as the other dropship arrives. When you get to this section of the story, there's 2 scientists and 1 armed soldier riding the train with them. When it finally stops, those 3 don't even exit the train, they just disappear. When you touch the lower section down below, the queen alien will spawn up top. She jumps down and you fight her. But I want to see the area up there where she spawns. Are there any secrets to find? Well, let's check it out. And here we are. So the queen alien spawns somewhere back here, and behind this area is just the back of that giant structure we just entered. It looks incomplete, but that's because you're not supposed to see this. Did you ever wonder what's inside that object? Yeah, me too. Well, it seems like there's nothing. It's empty. Yeah. And here is the last thing I noticed. It's when you fight Rykov in the final battle. If you zoom in on his head area, there's a protective shield or visor, something that is not on the multiplayer version of the exosuit. It's also not seen during the other cutscene when he first gets into the exosuit. Alright, so that's it for this video. We got to explore some interesting spots within the Predator campaign in Aliens vs Predator 2 from 2001. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like rating on it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.